Let's go through Liquid 1055, shortest way to form string. So there is a source string and a target string. So it asks, what is the shortest way to form string? So what is the shortest way means we use the source to concatenate. For example, so it uses a subsequence of source and concatenate to target. So for example, uh, this one we need twice because A, B, C, right? We use once. And then this BC is another subsequence of B, A, B, C, right? So intuitively for this question, we're thinking about is that we use two pointers, right? So we have one pointer use J pointer and I pointer. So what we do is that we iterate, for example, J one by one, and I is going to one by one, right? So if the character equals, then J move, I move, right? If for example, and doesn't equal, right? If doesn't equal, we just move I. So so that we go here, right? Go here, and the thing is that if I is at the end of, for example, at M, we have I go back to 0. So our those kind of counts we should increase by 1, right? In the end, we return these counts. The thing is that for the case 2, right, it is possible this source will not be able uh, to form target because there is a character D here, right? So that means uh, AC is a subsequence of ABC, but for D will never be any subsequence of source, right? So in this case, it's not able to return uh, target. So we just return -1. For this kind of case, we have two ways to solve if there is some character doesn't exist, right? The first way is that we count first for every character in source and every characters in target. If in the target there is some character doesn't appear in source, we just return -1, right? But we can also um, doing the first way is that two pointers, right? Two pointers. If we go back um, to the start of, for example, the I pointer goes to M, right? And then we set I to 0. And the thing is that when I equals to 0, we just put, for example, previous J, right? If that means, and let's this I go one more loop to see if this kind of J moves or not. If it doesn't move, that means we're never able to do through the looping to form target because that means there is some kind of character will never be found in source. In that case, we just return source, right? So in this case, we don't need to have a special count array to compare. We just use two pointers, right? And also we can use a previous J variable to store when, for example, if I um, goes to the first index, and we have a previous J, right? And loop again, if previous J doesn't change, that means we cannot just iterate to go through those kind of source to get a target matched. So doing like this, the time complexity will be m, for example, the length will be m multiplied by n, right? And space will be O1, right? Because we just need some variables. So let's write code for this kind of two pointer approaches, right? So we do this char array, for example, S array equals source to char array, and char array T array equals target to char array. So we're going to have int m equals s array dot length, right? And n equals t array dot length. And the result, we should initially set as 1. The reason is that if we go to the next, if I goes to m, right, then we go to the next start. We use this source again, right? Then we use that will be the second time we use this kind of source. So result we set as 1 as initial 1, right? And 2 pointers I equals 0, j equals 0. We use a previous j equals -1, okay? So what we write is why j is smaller than n. So if I equals m, then let's set I equals to 0, right? When we iterate 1 cycle, we use the source, right? So we have here if previous j equals j, that means we are not able to iterate those kind of I to move any j character anymore, right? We just return -1. And for every we set this kind of pre-j that is only when we start after the initial cycle, right? And the result plus. And let's say if S array I equals T array J, then we're going to have I plus, right? And in any way, this we are going to have J plus, right? Because in any way we should have I plus. So in this case, return result, right? It is O, we'll say it will be O m multiplied by n time complexity with constant space, right? We know for this is actually trying to see whether some part of target is it a subsequence of source, right? So we know if there is a next array we can use here, that is we can separate those kind of I and M into different part. For example, here, because this value that will be O M multiplied by n space time complexity. We know those kind of next array, we can separate those kind of operations of M and n, right, to different steps. And so here we can also use those kind of next array. So this is two-point approach. It is fast, but I think because this length is quite small, so 1,000 multiplied by 1,000 is still not bad. But since that we can use next array to separate those kind of m multiplied by n approach to O m plus n approaches, right? So what will be the next array? Next array we are built on source because we are trying to find whether some part is a subsequence of the source, right? So here let's get rid of this. So we're going to have int next equals new int m plus 1, right? And 26. So what we do is for every row that's initially set as -1, raise fill row -1. And then what we do is that for int I equals m -1, I greater equal to 0, I minus, then we're going to have for int j equals 0, j smaller than 26, j plus plus. We'll say next I j will be next I plus 1 j, right? So this is at index I. What is the character first appearance index from include this index I, right? So because this index I is included, so that means that we should have um, array j. So we're going to have array I. So this will be S array I minus A equals I, right? So here, let's set int I equals -1, j equals j equals 0. Result equals equals let's say still use here what let's say which is 0 or 1. Let's say if I equals -1, what we do is that we're going to have result should increase by 1, right? So in this case, we set the result as 0 because initially it is -1, right? Here, actually, we don't need a pre-j here. That is, we'll just write this. Right? If next t array j for example 0, right? 0 t array j minus a equals -1, right? That means um that means um we cannot find this character t anymore, right? Even we go through the next cycle, we just return -1. And otherwise, we're going to have I equals next I plus 1 t array j minus a, right? So we'll say if I doesn't equal to -1, right? That means we find a match. Then we have j plus plus. So this is I is not iterated one by one anymore, right? Because we are checking this kind of next array. Every time we just use this one to pick what is the next position for I, right? So doing like this, we separated those kind of m multiplied by n approach to m plus n approach. The Python code will be very similar. Let's write the Python code for this as well. So we're going to have m n equals length of source and length of target. So we are going to have next equals -1 multiplied by 26 for in range m plus 1, right? So what we do is that for I in range um, m -1 -1 -1, right? For j in range 26, we're going to have next I j will be equals next I plus 1 j, right? And also for this character, we have next I that will be already um, source I minus already 8 plus 2 I, right? So what we do is that we are going to have I, J results. So initially set as I as -1 here, right? And J is 0. And this will be 0. So what we do is while J is smaller than N. So if I equals -1, right? So that is the initial, or we finish one cycle of source. Then we're going to have results should plus equal to 1. So we'll say if next 0 and the ORD target J minus ORD A equals -1, right? So that means for this kind of target J, this character will never find a match. Just return -1. So then we'll say I equals next or the so that will be I plus 1, right? In this one. So let's say if I doesn't equal to -1, we're going to have J plus equal to 1, right? That is, there is a match. So doing this processing, instead, this I will not iterate, go step by step, but we just check this next array to find the next index in the source, right? So in the end, just return result. So this will be O M plus n time complexity, right? So we'll say this is 26. This constant m plus n, right? So for space will be 26m, right? So we'll see because we have an next array